It was good to be back in the wilderness again, just me and the animals. I suppose I was here to test myself. Could I really enjoy my own company? What was I trying to prove? I intended to get as far out into the wilderness as possible. I would walk that path until it was there no longer. I would find my old cabin. I was up with the sun at 4 a.m. to find the bag that had been left for my survival. It was filled with all the essentials a man would need out here in the desolate wilderness. I checked my list and found everything I would need for a year or for a weekend. It was just like Christmas. The sound of geese heading north made me anxious to get the repairs to the cabin underway. A few well-placed nails on the roof and my cabin was tight and warm. And suddenly there was my old woodland pal by my side again. Nipper is an impressive 25 years old and he knows the forest like the back of his paw. If he weren't crawling with disease, I might even think about eating him for dinner. I do believe the growing season is at hand. Old Mother Nature was surely cooperating with me this day. My potatoes were small, but good enough to make the fried wedges I had been dreaming about. Crinkled and cut to perfection, wedged just right. I had dug out a square of earth 11 by 17 to act as my natural cooler. This moss-covered contraption kept everything at a reasonable 35 degrees. I was alone, I had my beer, I had my reading materials, and I had the forest. Could a man want more? I don't think so. Making it in the back seat. Should I know what that means? That character Nipper was all over my beer supply. He lost a few points with me that day. The forest is just like a woman, all smiles 1 minute and a dancing temper tantrum the next. It's a risky proposition to be alone, but risk is good for a man, unless it's with a woman. I spied some ducks in the calm waters. That mallard needed a bath almost as much as I did. Always be on the lookout for the creatures of the forest. They are a wily bunch and not to be taken lightly. I certainly never feel alone with these characters in view. Suddenly the creatures had me surrounded on all fronts. My beastly friends? I was no longer so sure about that. May 2nd. Today the lake is dead calm. A perfect time to gather up some water for the making of my special recipe. The peppery dip was just the way I like it. It's got everything in it but the kitchen sponge. These newfangled lids make it quite a task to open for sprinkling. It would make an elegant topping for those homemade potato slabs. True to form, that little character Nipper was always around when the food was at hand. He not only enjoyed my beer, but my potato wedges as well. I worked the wood to shape. Too many men work on parts of things. Doing a job to completion satisfies me. It was hard work, but I enjoyed it. Perfect, but plenty close for rural work. I couldn't complain about that. Quite an accomplishment for 11 days' work. It was enough to impress me and the woodland creatures. One of the most useful tools in the wilderness. Sometimes a man just needs to get to town for a good cup of coffee. It was good to take a break from the cabin and that rascal Nipper. I had to walk many miles to finally once again catch up to civilization. There you go. When the conversation turned toward a political direction, I found I had nothing to offer. Once again, I turned my attention to the thoughts of my cabin, and especially the wilderness friends I had left behind. I had made it through my first weekend. There would certainly be more adventures in the wilds. I was ready to continue my quest. "I'm coming, Nipper,"